So if you ever thought about maybe changing the radio in your Harley touring bike, this may be an option for you. So stay tuned and maybe you will consider. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna introduce my friend Corey, and he's gonna talk about the radio that he installed on his motorcycle. So,
Thanks.
if you guys remember Corey from my one of my videos that when we did when I went to Texas, he went with me with him and my friend Ed.
Yeah.
So Corey, about 3 weeks ago, around 3 weeks ago, told me about the idea of changing his radio, and he approached to me about telling me about kind of doing a video about the radio and kind of his thoughts about the radio. What kind of bike you have, Corey? What was?
This is a 2014 Street Glide Special in black and cayenne sun glow.
And what makes you switch into another radio other than the Harley radio?
The Harley radio was okay. It was definitely a step up from things I've seen Harley do in the past, but the sound quality just left a lot to be desired. All in all, when I came across this setup with this plug and play harness, it just seemed like the best bang for the buck that would get you great sound quality, allow you to use the functionality of your cell phone for GPS, and it was infinitely upgradable where the Harley unit definitely was not.
Which model radio do you got?
This is the Sony XAV AX 7000 setup from Fathead Cycles with their plug and play harness that I believe is proprietary to them. It is 100% plug and play. I had to wire nothing, as well as you'll see in a later shot, I'm sure, a dash kit that fills in from where the old radio fits, and it matches perfectly.
And the other thing is, we're not being sponsored by.
No, not at all. I purchased this outright myself. I was just so impressed with it that I haven't seen another video. I looked around for several videos. Fathead Cycles does an excellent video of installing it, but I hadn't seen another video showcasing the functionality of the unit and just how all the different systems work on it, and as well as sound quality, and I thought that would be something people would be interested in seeing. You can see the radio tucked down here below this amp tray. This is where, if you had a Rockford Fosgate amp or any other third-party amp, even a Harley Boom amp, it would mount here. This is where your factory radio came right out of. This mounts into the same holes with the kit that comes with the radio. You can see one of the screws right there. So you have two USB inputs, one of them to run Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and one of them to run a thumb drive or anything you want to charge like a GPS, as well as running it straight through the factory console. Fathead Cycles does an excellent job of telling you how to get your old USB cable out. You won't reuse it. It has its own proprietary Harley connector. This is a antenna adapter that will run you into the Harley factory antenna. It's worked great so far. These modules let you interface the hand controls. You do lose a little bit of functionality, and we'll discuss that as we go along, and Fathead Cycles does an excellent job of telling you what you get to keep and what you don't get to keep when you change over from the Harley GT radio.
Yeah. Usually how long it takes for pretty quick, right?
Yeah, the first time you cut it on, it's going to be a little bit longer. Not timed it myself, but I would say between 10 and 15 seconds. Every time after that, it's very quick. 1 and 2 seconds, kind of a quick boot. Jumps right up to wherever you had it before. A little bit faster than the Harley radio. It's just a little misleading because the Harley GT radio kind of does that bar and shield on fire graphic, and it kind of makes you think the radio's doing something. This one stays dark for a lot longer before it cuts on, but once it's there, it's there.
What is one of the main features this radio has? You told me that it has a Android CarPlay, Apple CarPlay too?
Yes. This radio was probably originally meant to go in something more like a Jeep than a motorcycle, but they've adapted it fantastically. It's waterproof. All the buttons are waterproof. Sony calls it water resistant, but they've claimed that weather won't be an issue with this radio. It does run full Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's not wireless Android Auto and CarPlay because I haven't seen that on a third-party unit like this Sony XAV AX7000 radio or any others. But as far as a plug-in Android Auto, if you have it in your car from the factory or anything else, you're going to be very familiar with how it operates. I have a Galaxy Note 8, so plug your USB Type-C in. The radio's going to do its thing, and then it's going to immediately pick up Android Auto on its own. And then this is the maps that you get instead of the old Harley kind of generic gray and black maps. This runs full Google Maps because it's going to mirror whatever your phone wants to put out. So full touchscreen, and you can zoom quite a bit. And we're not moving, so it might be a little off. This is my house. As far as picture quality updating, my old Harley radio still does not recognize, and it's updated as far as Harley says it can go to the newest version. It still doesn't recognize a major beltway of the city that I live in, which becomes annoying from time to time. This is going to update as your phone updates. There's really not a lag and curve anymore to me. You do lose a few things. You lose the functionality of your right hand control. This button, which used to display your intake air temperature and your oil pressure and cylinder deactivation, it does nothing anymore because this radio has nothing to support that. It wasn't a big deal for me. The low oil pressure light still works, so you're still going to have some kind of a heads up if there's an oil pressure concern. I really never cared about intake temperature anyway, and I don't select and deselect my cylinder deactivation. It just kind of stays enabled all the time. I don't see a point in being able to access it. Aside from that, the left hand control still works volume, and left and right is still in the radio. It's station to station or preset to preset. Anything else, it's track to track, just like you would expect it to be. The right hand now mirrors it. Both hand controls work the same way.
It's full functionality when it comes for the Android CarPlay you have in the radio, pretty much. So if your automobile, your car is Android CarPlay or Apple
CarPlay and Android Auto.
You probably familiar with all the features. So that's what this radio will offer you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the Harley, the 2019 Touring model, they're coming out with that feature. I don't know if they had the Android.
I haven't. And
I know they had Apple, but I don't know if they're already Android.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that Harley is going to put Android Auto. I really haven't looked to see. I'm not in the market for a new motorcycle. I really like this one. I know the GTS radio, which is the newest, latest, greatest Harley radio, is a substantial upgrade from the GT radio that came in these. It not only looks a lot better in my opinion, but I think the functionality of it is a lot better as well. And the updatability of it is probably better. This to me was a good comparison for a fraction of the cost. I think the regular price on this that I had seen Fathead Cycles selling this complete unit, the radio, the dash kit, the wiring harness, the whole thing, plug and play, ready to go, was $728. I got it on, they had a sale. I got it a little cheaper than that, and currently it's even cheaper than that, which is unfortunate for me. But You can't win them all. You also, with this unit, get a 400 watt amp integrated into the unit that'll run 4 channels. So if I decide to add rear speakers later, or if I put lowers on this motorcycle and ran speakers on there on the lowers, I could run 4 channels on this one radio. It's for, you know, the $600 to $700 range, depending on where they have the thing priced. It was a no-brainer for me to have this level of functionality raised, as well as just the better sound quality and volume. My old radio, I couldn't hear it on the highway, and I heard that from a lot of people. This, for me, it may not suit everyone, because you do lose a little functionality of the right control stick, moving an icon around. It's probably not a radio that's going to suit everyone, but for someone that might want a good upgrade as far as functionality with GPS, sound quality, I just can't find a better value.
The fact that you have it is a Sony radio.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can't go wrong with a Sony radio. You know, you're talking about good brand. You know?
Yeah, it's not some, you know, aftermarket junk. It's a reputable brand radio. They do a 3-year warranty on the entire unit, the radio, the whole thing, and that's better than Harley does with their own things. If I upgraded this bike and spent a lot, the last number that I heard was a couple $1,000 just to upgrade this to Harley GTS radio, just to have some of what I've got here and still no amp. You know, I've not seen where Harley Davidson will warranty any of their electronics. They're kind of best of luck to you. I mean, I didn't have the greatest luck with my Boom 2, and that's on me.
Okay, guys. So there you have it. You know, it's just a quick rundown to the radio. You know, I think I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna end up buying a radio myself. It's.
I mean, I hope it stays as good as it does. I've never had a Sony radio for a car that turned out bad. I feel like it's going to be this indefinitely. Yeah, it's going to get outdated eventually, but not for a long time.
Yeah, but I think it's for the price.
Yeah,
For the price, it's like
I couldn't beat it.
you can beat the price.
No,
you can. For the price and all the features that it has, is.
Yeah, I couldn't touch it. I couldn't touch the built-in integrated amp. I couldn't touch the fact that it's waterproof. I couldn't touch the harness that integrates all the hand controls. I couldn't touch it.
Definitely, I think I'm gonna end up ordering a radio myself, and I guess we probably later on, next year in the summer, we
do an update
we
video.
do an update, see how we like it, But
yeah,
it's just all the functionality that it has, man, with the especially the GPS.
Yeah.
The GPS and the apps.
Yeah, we just went in October. It's currently early December. We went in October. We did a Saddle Sore 1000 between West Tennessee and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then kind of horseshoed back through Texas. That Harley radio was a thorn in my side the entire time. We did their trip planner the whole way they wanted us to. It just it failed us a lot of times, and that was a big contributing factor to me changing my mind.
There you have it, guys. I definitely probably gonna end up buying the radio myself. So we probably later on, after next summer, after riding season comes back, we probably gonna do an update on this radio. And if any of you guys are familiar with this type of radios, just put a comment on it and think what you think about. And I didn't know this radio even existed, for our touring bikes until Corey told me about it. And because I was thinking of doing the upgrade from the 2019 radio, I'm buying the harness later on, maybe in a couple years, but it's still, it's gonna cost you a good $3,000 if you do it yourself.
And then you're going to have to get the dealer involved at some point because they're going to have to flash that bike.
Yes.
So it's not this. Once you do this, you never have to deal with the dealer again over things like this. It removes it all. And if you want to upgrade to the new 2019 and up GTS, even if you mount it yourself and wire it yourself, you're going to have to deal with the dealer at some point.
So there you have it, guys. We'll be following up with this radio, and if you guys have any, comment, and see what you guys think about, if you guys have experience on using this type of radio, the Sony radio, and we're gonna follow up with, and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Until next time, see you around.